Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chuck Free Uncorked. Joining us on this week's episode is the famous, the glorious, the lady of TV, Mckenna Maduli.
Hey, what is up?
And of course, Cully.
How's it, you guys? Yeah.
Why
I don't
doesn't
get an intro like that,
Can
bro.
you do one.
And then there's Cully. So, a couple of weeks ago, I was fortunate to join Mckenna on her show called Talk Story.
And you were fabulous.
No, I had fun.
Yes.
Her and her father, man, I had a blast. I called Cully like right when I went out the door because it was so much fun. That was really cool.
Like we said earlier, like he literally called me right after the show to say that was the best thing he's done in a really long time.
You
Or
can come
ever,
back
maybe.
anytime, you know. I mean, we
Yeah.
wrap season 2, but you're more than welcome. We might as well just start our own show.
Yeah.
Wino with Dado and,
Wino with
and
Dado.
Chucko.
Well, talk about your show if you want. If you're
Yeah, well, Talk Story is a Hawaiian variety show that we've placed on Hawaii News Now. I really created it after years in LA. I lived in the mainland for 20 years. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to come home and really create a platform to talk about all the magical, talented people that come from Hawaii, whether they were athletes or musicians or entertainers. We have world-class talent here in Hawaii. So that's what the show was.
Surfer, and the
created
other
for.
guy was
Surfer.
the one that was on the same show as
Kamea.
No,
Yeah, Kamea was on your episode.
Yeah.
Did you watch the show?
I did.
Okay.
Kamea was the creator of Power. So there's a bunch of people on your episode. 3 other people.
Oh gosh,
No,
there was like
there
5.
was a person from
But you were the only
Waimanalo,
one.
LNL. There
Oh,
was a
that's right.
person from
Cool.
Poke from Foodland.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
cheese and salumi. He did a cheese and salumi thing.
A charcuterie board.
Yes.
But
And
you
then there was
told me
another
there was
guy.
an R in that word. It's not charcuterie. It's charcuterie.
Right.
Do you remember teaching me that?
Yes. And then who was the first guy, though?
Kamea.
Yeah.
Our friend
Kamea.
Kamea Hadar, yeah.
He was so interesting. And you know what?
Oh,
He
he's
was-
interesting.
He was very polished. He was a very good speaker. Very
You
very
okay?
engaging.
Wait a minute. You thought he was polished with the most wrinkled, whatever brand T-shirt that was.
He loves wearing like paint stained
I was
jeans.
like,
but that was
bro,
cool.
this
Yeah.
is a primetime TV show. You're gonna show up in a crinkled, and I love you, Kamea, if you're watching right now. But yeah, I'm just surprised the word polished came from
Well,
Chuck Faria's
Well, that's what everybody said when they saw me. They sit there going,
with your
the guy has shorts on. This is a primetime TV show.
But you wore a nice Aloha shirt.
You did.
Yeah.
Okay.
With Fila slippers.
Exactly. It's important.
He wore Fila slippers to Ariana's wedding. Too,
Oh,
so-
really?
So she got married,
Okay.
and I performed the ceremony. How's that?
Should we tell Kimo Kennedy this?
Yes.
Yes.
He does this. He's done like 5 or 6 weddings.
You're lying.
I swear to God. Right?
Missy and Fred, I did their wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a done deal then.
Yeah.
It's a done deal. Kimo Kennedy, if you're watching, Chuck Faria is the officiant.
I told him that already.
Oh, wait. He's what?
Yeah, we filmed the podcast. Remember I was telling him of that?
Oh, it
And
just
I
didn't
told
make
him
the-
about, God, I got to talk to Mckenna, man. I know a good eye doctor for her. I told him that how many times?
Poor guy. He gets it all the time.
He was our
Not fun.
first episode of the Fine
Local
Wines
Grinds.
and Local Grinds.
Right.
So for the viewer, tonight's episode, what we like to do is to bring guests on to do a Fine Wine Local Grinds. We're going to be trying 2 different dishes from 2 different restaurants.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's a great icebreaker as far as like giving you and I a place to like kind of comment on food and wine, because we're not going to break down the wines and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but in a setting that we're more comfortable with as far as like eating food and then drinking with it. I think it's a great icebreaker to be able to bring us into something like this. You know?
I agree, but as a master sommelier's son, have you learned anything during this podcast at all?
1,000%. Actually, a lot.
Tell me 3 things Kale Faria has learned on this podcast.
I have learned about how temperature affects wine and food pairing specifically.
Okay.
I mean, so I don't want to spoil, but like there's like, you know, this one of the wines that we're drinking specifically plays with the herbs that are going to be on one of our dishes.
Okay.
I've learned to pace myself on these podcasts so I don't drink too much, you know, so I can, it's a
I'm already
marathon.
buzzed, so this is about
Yeah.
to be a really good podcast, guys.
and I, you know, after the interview, when he called and was like, this was the best interview I've ever done, was on your show. We're like, oh, it'd be a great platform because you ask such good questions and do your research. Like the whole reason we're doing this podcast is to demystify wine.
Right.
So with your background, I think that this would be really cool.
I'm honored to be
episode.
here, and you are a great kumu.
Wine
Vicky,
kumu.
I'm Vicky. I'm not Kumu. I'm tilapia.
No, you're great. I mean,
Sounds fishy to me, but anyway. So let me
that's
say
the first time he used that joke this one time.
So let me add my 2 cents into this
No,
thing.
you're not allowed. It's my show now.
So, I did an interview earlier today, and one of the areas that I hope we can reach more and more people to think about is that wine and food. So when you go to a bistro or cafe somewhere in the countryside of the Mediterranean or along the beach,
You taking me?
whoa,
easy,
hey,
bro. That's my
escalation.
dad.
Exactly.
I mean, to teach, Kale. Where's your mind?
Me and your dad are buddy, you know?
Okay, that just got weird.
So when you look at those people, it's all different parts of life. You know,
Yeah.
some have overalls on, some just have t-shirts, some have coat and tie at the showcase, and they're having lunch, and they're not swirling their wine in the glass and smelling it and going, "Ugh."
Right.
They eat the food and they gulp the wine to wash it down. It's a way of life, just like we in America drink iced tea, soda pop, et cetera. You know, I mean, it's just
Truly's.
sodas. You know, it's just
Truly.
yeah, it's just washing down the food, right?
And you
So-
said there it's like in unlabeled crafts.
Yeah.
And,
And the point of that is that, that's the part that they've established hundreds of years ago. Whereas we in America, we're just getting into wine and food pairings now. And it's not about, well, I know this wine goes with that. It's just about really checking out the enjoyment of it all, that it just went together.
Yeah.
And so that's why I thought this local grind segment would be fun because, anybody can enjoy wine and food, or they don't like this wine with this food. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you don't like the wine with the food, we won't show the label. So that way there's no,
Right.
awkwardness.
yeah.
I like that. That'll make future sponsors very happy. I have a though I love the concept of this, and I think it's very cool. And you did, when you were on Talk Story, you taught myself. I never thought that you could have poke with wine. I never thought that Hawaiian food and that all of these things. And you actually brought 2 wonderful choices, and I was like, wow, I would. Because you don't think about that, right?
No.
Eating wine with Hawaiian food.
No.
It's either like a super cold Heineken or a Diamond Head strawberry soda.
Exactly.
So it's
Yeah.
like which. Oh my God. That's how I eat Hawaiian food. So I enjoy
You know
that.
why she did that? Can.
Okay.
No can?
well, so we did
I just lost my belt.
It's okay.
That's how much fun I'm having.
we did a local grinds episode with Ola, and we
That's
did it with
right.
Helena's, and we were I thought we were gonna do it like all as eating everything together, but we literally broke down every component to where we were trying poi with 4 different kinds of wines. It was pretty crazy experience.
But the whole point of that was just to show people that all 4 wines could work with the food. They weren't expensive, and it added to the enjoyment. I mean, you should have seen Ola's face. He was like, "Whoa, I like this one better with that one." I mean, it was just spontaneous. He like, "Wow," kind of thing that you captured on the filming.
yeah.
I thought it was magic.
Very neat. I want to ask you, do you go to Napa? Or do you go to like other countries? Like where do you?
All of the above.
All of the above. Okay. So what's your favorite winery in Napa?
Oh gosh, I don't have one.
You don't have one. It's
So
like
I
picking your
told you on the
favorite kid.
show,
That's right.
I like to appreciate my son for who he is and my
Right.
daughter for who she
Me
is.
too.
Why do I have to change?
Right.
Why do I have to
Pick a favorite.
pick a favorite? Right?
He's been saying this to me since I was a
How does
little
that make
kid.
you feel though? And I've now become your guys' family therapist.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
No, I understand it. Especially from his perspective, he doesn't want to like bash anybody's brand or like put anybody's brand first. So he's coming from like an objective,
Right.
which is cool. You got to respect that,
And then with the kind of like I explained to you on your show, your wonderful show, is that
I love you so much. It's not even funny. Second of all, can
So-
we turn that light on? I feel like this wine.
Oh
Just
yeah,
kidding.
our lighting isn't totally set up. Yeah, it's okay. We'll break in a little bit and then.
Oh no,
Yeah.
this is just a TV producer personality.
Yeah.
Mind thinking.
Oh, wow.
I know. I'm super bougie.
Poor chemo, man. Now I take it back. But, you know, the thing that my wife once told me, you know,
Which one?
is that she told me that this couple, look how hard they worked to make that wine. And you're going to poo-poo it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, it made me think, who the hell am I?
Right.
And so you have to be careful with all that stuff. That's why if the wine is not to your liking, I'd rather not show the label because it's going to make someone feel bad.
So what's the pressure like for you if you go up to a table? You have so much experience guiding people through meals. And so what do you do if they don't like the wine after you pour the little taste?
I take it back, no problem.
Really? Even if it's the
So-
$1,000 bottle of wine?
Right. So
Wow.
so when they ask for me, the one question I ask them is, "What wine do you normally drink?" And their answer tells me whether they like white, red, rosé, sparkling, dry or sweet,
Price
full-bodied, light-bodied,
Yeah.
oaky, not oaky, what price range they want. So it gives me a lot of information, so I can then think about those wines I would like to recommend to them. One that's similar to what they normally drink, and then one that actually goes with the food. And I present it and I tell them why, and then let them choose, not me. It's not my palate.
You give so much power.
No, but it's not, you know, I just think,
He lets them make their own decision or be a
Exactly.
part of their decision in their
or help them.
experience.
No,
Yeah.
just a support. I'm not the, you have to drink this.
Yeah.
I remember I did a wine sommelier competition in New York, and one of the most famous, sommelier from one of the most famous wine bars in New York, on stage, he told everybody, no. They don't tell me what they look. I tell them what to drink. And if they don't like it, I show them the door. He said that on stage.
Really?
And I F-bombed him with the microphone. I was a color comment. I totally F-bombed him. And seriously, because I said, how dare you? You know, we're in the service industry.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you're going to be that type of person that's talking down at people,
Right.
I don't care what facet of life it is, that you have no right to do that.
I love that you preach that. That's awesome.
There's a lot of things that he talks about from a service industry perspective that
Right.
is totally applicable to like anything that you do. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, before Talk Story, and I mean, up until 5-6 years ago, I was a bartender and a waitress and a server.
At where?
At Bandera Restaurant in Brentwood, California. I lived in LA, and you know, I would book gigs that would get me through a year or a year and a half of stuff. But when that run,
income.
right? But and I loved working in the service industry because one, obviously, my personality wanted to aloha everyone and to take care and to nurture.
But you're
and
so
to,
shy. And demure. I think
No,
demure is a
like,
good word.
What? Why'd they give you a talk show? No, but I actually genuinely really appreciate and I know but I love. This sounds funny, but I love shaking martinis. I love making Mai Tais with the little egg whites in them for the foam. I love all those little things that make things special. And like you said, it's so relatable because even when I do Talk Story, like that same love and care I would put into making someone a cocktail or serving them a ribeye, I put into storytelling. It's the same.
Or doing your research about your guests as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that.
I actually
So
just
regarding the
called
vodka,
Calais.
regarding the vodka,
That's my research.
the vodka,
Yeah.
that's
I thought
the
you didn't
spirit.
like vodka.
That's the spirit. Kelly, you got a plate?
Are you a Tito's?
Well, so let's transit. Let's take it. Well, after we're done talking story for a little bit, we'll transition into the food. when
Okay.
you're ready.
I'm so happy to hear that you had a great time. And I'm so happy to be here because obviously a dad and son duo, like daughter and dad duo, are very hard to come by. So thank you for having me.
Thank you
It's
for
very
joining
joining
yeah,
us and
thanks.
giving your time. Yeah, we're really excited about it.
I know.
So what
Let's
else
take
are
the
you
show on
doing?
the road.
Yeah.
What
What
am I
else-
not doing?
No, you're doing all these other projects besides Talk Story. So maybe what are some of the things?
Well, I have a little company called Hale Sweet Hale. It's a home interior. I have like pillows and curtains and some things that I've kind of had to put on the side for TV. But we just wrapped Ko Elua of Talk Story Season 2. Coming up next, I have 3 Hula is Life specials, which your sister should be on one of them. She's a beautiful hula dancer.
She is.
She's so... I was at Mary Monarch when she was dancing 2019.
It was the 50th anniversary.
I can't
Oh, not
remember,
Miss Aloha
but I
Hula,
was
yeah.
in the front row just watching her holy aura. Like,
Yeah.
she just had this beautiful aura about her. I was sitting with Rick Blangiardi, our new mayor, actually. And I was like, that's my friend's sister. And she did such a great job. So I have Hula's Life Specials coming up in Mary Monarch, which you know happens in Hilo. And then I'm also doing a Goodwill Goes Glam fashion show in July. And I'm
Like everything's from Goodwill.
like everything's from Goodwill.
That's
Cool.
cool,
Oh, yeah.
man.
I'm a thrifter. I'm a pretty big thrifter.
That's cool.
And then I turned 40 in August. So I'm taking some time off and I'm going to let you decide where
40?
I go. Yeah, I know.
Are we
already
talking
did it.
about IQ or age?
Like you're gonna go on
Well, I do want your input in this
Europe
because
trip again?
where am I? Yeah, what am I going to do? Where should I go? Because now I love wine because of Chuck Furuya. So you rule my life.
Are you talking about the United States or anywhere?
I recently found out that Greece is now open again.
That's where you should go.
Done.
Santorini for sure.
Okay.
No, but no sights. There's not a lot of sightseeing there.
I don't
For
have to
food and wine
sightsee.
experience.
Oh, just the relaxation. It is
I just-
so beautiful.
That's all I want. I just want.
That's what I think my wife would say. For just the complete package, Santorini. That's what she
Well,
would say.
he went there with Auntie Cheryl and as like a vacation, and it ended up turning into his most memorable wine trip, wine
Yeah.
and food trip.
That was crazy.
I love that
Chicken
idea.
skin.
Dude.
The food, the winery. I just arbitrarily or serendipity. What's the word?
Serendipitous. I have no idea. So
You know, understand by
Yeah.
chance.
Serendipity is actually one of my favorite movies that happened in New York. Did you ever see that movie?
John Cusick.
Yep.
And what's the girl's name?
Kate.
Oh yeah, Beckons.
Beckins.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of my faves.
Anyway, so
digress.
I met this guy who spoke no English and I spoke no
Perfect.
Greek,
That needs to be my husband.
and we just hit it off. And I was there 5.5, 6.5 hours. I had chicken skin.
Wait. Did I just hear him right?
Yeah.
they had some kind of
Connection. It was
non-verbal
incredible.
communication.
Like what you had with, well, I guess you and my dad talked pigeon the other day, but
No, it was amazing. It
you
was
and
one
my
of the
dad
best.
had like, our fathers had like a complete full circle bromance right in front
You
of
should
my
bring your
very
dad
eyes.
onto this thing next
I
time.
called him on my way over here and he was like, he never said I could come. And I was like, no, Dad, he didn't. No, but he really did love you. So you're welcome at our hale anytime.
Thank you. So what do you normally drink? Do you drink wine by first choice
I
or what?
do love wine, and you know what's so interesting is like when I worked in the service industry, like I could remember things like, and you can judge me however hard you want right now, but like I love like Justin Cabernets, and I love like Maryville Merlots, and I love like those type of, I guess, California wines. Was that how you would
Yeah.
describe them? I love for the summertime. I love Pinot Grigios. I love light, crisp stuff that I
Oh,
can
so you
just
do.
day
Yeah.
drink, and be at the poolside with my besties.
You know what? One of our daughters said, now that she's a mother of 3, that she, instead of just whacking down the tequila margaritas or anything, now she likes to drink wine because they start drinking at 4. She wants to still be able to watch the 10 o'clock news.
I think I'm actually graduating to that.
Yeah.
I do.
And what's cool about wine is there's a wine for like every situation. That's like how there's a song, like whether you're at the beach, you're gonna play a different song or a different kind of music. Wine is kind of the same way.
We're actually looking for a house now, and if I could build like a wine cooler, and you could be, that's what you should do, like in your next life, do wine cooler buying, and
You know what would be
I'll
cool?
be your manager for sure.
There you go.
But wouldn't you pay Chuck Furuya to like fill your wine fridge? Like that should be a real estate person's like add-on. Oh my gosh. Give me another glass of this wine.
Well, let's break after this, and then we'll get the food and we'll refill all the glasses. And stuff
But
like that.
before we do, you should build a reefer, a
Okay.
small reefer.
Is this a joke?
No, because
No.
the metal, you can clean it very easy because you're gonna have mold and mildew at that temperature and that humidity. So if you're gonna do it, he was talking about it. You can buy these small.
What exactly are they?
Like you can buy prefabricated walk-in refrigerators at any dimension.
Small. So instead of a closet, you just
Yeah.
put that in. You're set.
Done. All right. Toto toilets and reefer kitchen. We're good
So
to go.
I told you about that, right? the Toro Toys?
No, you didn't.
So we had them at Vino, right? Mm-hmm. The first delivery we rejected.
Why?
Total recall. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, let's take a little break and we'll set up
Wow.
the food and wine. So we'll be right back with that.
We're back. Here we go. So we have a couple dishes that we're asking these two to help navigate wine and food, what works, what doesn't work, why, how, what. Just to have some fun doing it, you know? That's it. So maybe you two can give them some clues into what's enjoyable, what's not.
What are we
why.
going to start with first?
I think we'll start with the calamari.
So the calamari is from Buzz's Steakhouse.
Ooh,
It's
Over in Lanikai.
Over in
Yep.
Lanikai. It's our first official sponsored item on
That's
this
a
podcast.
pretty nice sponsor.
Shout out to Buzz's. They
Shout
gave
out
us 2
Buzz's.
calamaris.
That
for free.
mahalo. Don't laugh. This is not funny. Okay, so you first.
Well, you got to
Okay.
squeeze the lemon on top.
I don't know the rules for this.
Or is that going to mess up the pairing?
No?
Oh.
So
Good
to explain
question.
the dish, it's like Buzz's most famous.
Appetizer.
I mean, even like it's the most ordered thing at the restaurant.
I'm drooling already.
So it's an actual calamari steak. It's panko crusted and pan fried. It's topped off with some house-made lemon beurre blanc, with some capers, a little bit
Yum.
of chopped cilantro, sorry, and then a fresh squeeze of lemon.
Yeah.
on the
Capers
top.
are my thing.
Really?
I have a very big love affair with capers.
I thought it was chemo. I'm getting confused.
I know. I need daily. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna
Help
go.
yourself.
Okay. Thank you. So I'll get this part, which is probably my favorite, the crunchy
Oh
part.
yeah, the corner.
Right. Kale, do you want me to help with this
Yes,
one?
please.
Yours.
Thank
okay.
you.
Kelly, when I was on her show, we did wine and poke.
Okay.
So that was fun.
What
so
kinds
this
of
is
poke?
Which I learned
so
so,
they
much
did Hawaiian
about.
style, and then they did spicy ahi.
And what do
And
you
it was
pair with
really good.
spicy ahi?
So we
I-
did. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I really did learn a lot about just breaking it up, like how and what to look for in the taste. And I mean, the difference between just having something very ocean style with limu and salt and then something very mayo inspired, you know, that was neat.
What is the
Wait,
pairing
how come
with
you get
spicy
the
ahi?
drink?
It's right there.
Oh, okay. I thought I was waiting for your demand.
Oh,
like,
no.
should we eat first?
Yeah, you try it.
Okay.
Try it with
You
the
want to
wine.
try Kale? Which
Yeah,
one?
let's
Okay.
try.
So the one on the left.
Yep.
Okay.
You try. What do you taste in the one?
So
left
we're
up?
doing 2 different wines, if you can explain.
Yeah. So the wine on the left is the one from Greece.
Wow.
Domain
I'll take a
Skouras.
case.
His name is Georgios Skouras, and he's in the Peloponnese, which is southern Greece.
Oh my
This
God.
wine is made from 2 different indigenous grapes to Greece,
It's my favorite word.
and Rhoditis and Muscofilero, Muscofilero, and this wine has aromatics. And so what it does with food is 2 things. Number one, the aromatics acts like fresh herbs with the food. It lifts it, and then you have this lemon lime edge to it that acts like a squeeze of lemon. So just like I squeeze the lemon on top, it cuts to the fishiness, it cuts to the oiliness, it cleanses your palate between bites. That's why we selected this for that. It comes all the way from Greece. It took us like, I don't know, 4.5 to 6.5 years to get it here to Hawaii.
Wow.
This wine is $13.99 to $14.99 in a store.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys,
I know.
this is life changing.
I know.
Yeah, it's really good wine.
It's so good. No, this would be seriously something with summer like around the corner. I would
Absolutely.
buy this by the case. I
Each
will.
day. Yeah.
So when you say it's taken 10 to 13 years to get this to Hawaii, what does that mean? Like, did you help
4 to
bring
6.
it? Or
So, to send a truck over there to pick up X amount of cases, and then to ship it all the way here from
Tigers,
to
I thought-
Hawaii,
it just
temperature control.
it takes them some time to get it allocated, right? And distributed here.
So
well,
they-
sign me up.
So
I love this.
So they are trying to get a application for making it legal to order some wines so that they
That's
can
good.
offer
Yeah.
on the podcast, right? It's taken them over a month. So imagine getting authorization from the Greek government to import this wine all the way here,
Interesting.
Yeah.
So,
So-
what do you taste when you eat that and drink the Zoe?
Deliciousness. This is a fabulous wine pairing. I do love that there's both lemon, like the zest, flavor medley vibes in this together. I really enjoy this. And I like what you said about the temperature because it's like not too cold where I'm like, or it's like not like, ew, this wine needs chilled.
And I think even it would be the hard thing about doing takeout is obviously it's not super hot when we eat it. It's still delicious.
No, mahalo buzzes. Yeah. Yes, this is really yummy. Wait, so how do I get this?
You have to go to stores like Arfield in Kailua. I think Arfield in Aina Haina, Arfield in Ala Moana Shopping Center has it. No, they don't. I don't know. Specialty stores, a lot of the big box stores won't carry this
and
one.
And $13.99.
Yeah,
can't beat that.
That's amazing. I'm thinking of something of the cake bread Chardonnay that I like because I don't really like Chardonnays that much. Why am I thinking of cake bread? Is that like a popular one?
Yeah, and it's very a long time. They've been around since the 70s at least. So a big Napa Valley iconic winery. But imagine you can probably buy at least 2, if not 2.5 to 3 bottles of this.
Wow.
For the same price,
That's amazing. I think that when you're talking about wine education, I think that wine is a scary subject for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
For many reasons. It's so intimidating.
Yes.
They think it's for the bougie and they can't afford it or they can't. But for you to say that this is $13.99 and this is something that my mother would enjoy, this is something that my friends would enjoy.
Exactly.
I also think just walking into a wine store, and it's not a wall of wine, it's a store of wines. Like where do you start?
Exactly.
So now that we're suggesting these specific wines, I think it gives people a starting point. I was like, oh, I do enjoy this, or I don't enjoy this, I enjoy this. So it's being able to ask more questions or knowing what you like to drink specifically.
Yeah, I love that it's light.
Yeah,
it's like light and crisp. And I do want to ask because I am very guilty of being a new seltzer girl. It's the thing, like, what am I picking up when I go to a paina? It's a case of seltzers. Where the next day, I'm not feeling so great about that decision. But this is something that I feel could maybe replace my seltzer vibes in a little tumbler.
Exactly.
Yeah? Does that bring you joy, Chuck Furuya?
This is exactly what he wants to hear. I swear to God.
No, I mean, but it's like having the knowledge, and I'm going to be super straight up with you. It's just an intimidating thing to start to jump into, wine
1000%.
knowledge. You're like, wait, I don't want to mess this up in front of one of how many hundred.
So we need to make him into an app.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I love the idea of you becoming people's personal wine shoppers.
So
I want in on this business, by the way.
You know what else you could do with this wine for your taste?
Bathe in it.
No, that's for Chemo's taste. I'm talking about for your taste. Just serve it on the rocks.
I'm liking this
this?
guy. I am liking.
Yeah, why not? I think she would love it if it was on the rocks.
Yeah, I know. I'm not even kidding. I'm sold on this one.
Yeah.
What is Moscow?
Mascafalero's the grape.
Okay.
And so is Roditis. It's 2 indigenous grapes only to Greece. So the other thing, Mckenna, is that, one of the things we discussed on your show, depending on what you read, there's somewhere between 800 and 10,000 different grape varieties available out there. So if you look at another fruit like mango, you have Hayden mango, common mango, Piri mango, Chinese mango, to name 4. And they all have different tastes, weights, textures, etc., right? Same is true with grapes. Yeah. So there's no other grape like this. This is Roditis and Mascafalero, and it's totally Greek. And it's the kind of country wine that they would gulp with their food, not sit there going...
And you said that this is specifically, or not specifically, but this is one of the wines that is paving the way for Greek country-style wines again.
Absolutely.
Do Greek countries not have good reputations?
Well, Greece has just gone through this real interesting time where, like, even right now, I mean, when I was there in 19, I mean, they were rumored to be bankrupt as a country and stuff like that. So they've had some economic hard times and whatnot. So you see, as a country, all these small mom and pop operations shut down. And then when I was in a very remote city, I remember what town, I should say, it wasn't even a city. I'm walking down an alley, walking down another alley, walking down another alley because I want to get a taste, a feel, a sight of, real Greece, And all of a sudden I see Prada. So that's the point. It's a country that, you have to really look to see the ancient stuff.
Gosh, it is my
and when you look at the
list to go there.
Acropolis from far, you sit there going, oh my God, look at that thing. When you look up close, it's completely redone. It's enhanced. It's like dental teeth or something. It's just, it looks fake.
Yeah.
So Greece is a country that has so much history, but you really have to dig around to find it. You know, it's really interesting. I happened to be on a plane sitting next to somebody, and he was working for an oil company, and he came to Greece quite often. And he said for every mile that they were trying to do a pipeline from here to there, and he said for every half mile, they had to stop digging and construction because they would find artifacts. And they would have to bring in archaeologists and experts to make sure that this thing wasn't something super serious, so that they could get the approval to continue. He said,
I love that. I wish they would treat Hawaiian lands like
exactly,
that.
Exactly. And so he said it's just crazy. The whole countryside is dotted with archaeological.
I believe it.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
And it's really funny because I was at this other part of the city, and if you look, there was 3 layers of evidence of other
civilizations.
Yeah, not civilizations, but generations or something. Like, you know, here's one that was Roman time. Here's one before that, and they just kept building on top of it. You know, so
I love all of this stuff. I'm so fascinated that you know so much about this, because where do you store it all? Is it just because some things might bore you? Like, what bores you?
Well, Ariana always whispers in my ear that she goes, Chuck, tonight you have to talk about Greece, and remember, it's Roditis and it's Mascafilero. I said, thank you very much.
Oh, got it. Okay.
In your earpiece.
And then you know what's so funny? Then Courtney's standing right, so with an eyesight, she's
I love it. You have a great team. You know what's so interesting to me is that what do we have here in Hawaii? Like that? Do we have any wines that we're proud of that are made here?
I just did a whole piece. So Kelly signed me up with all these Facebook wine groups. So for me
I
to
asked
have
them to put an hour or 2 in a day.
I'm like 5-6 hours a
Are
day
we
now.
Facebook friends?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know how to do all
my
this.
heart is broken.
He signs me up. I
Okay.
don't know how to sign up. So anyway, here's the cool thing. Someone just asked me. They were driving back from Hana, and they stumbled upon this winery on Maui, and they go, "Well, I don't think it's Grand Cru. I don't think it's like that." And so I was sitting there going, "How can I, instead of saying, brother, you know, show respect, instead of me taking a hard stance, what can I say to make them think differently about that winery?" So I just posted that this lady has the passion, the determination, the perseverance to do this winery through thick and thin.
Right.
44 years. And understand, Hawaii has major problems when it comes to growing grapes. There's no dormancy, so that means the vines don't sleep. So imagine you working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year. You know, you need sleep, so do the vines. So Hawaii has no dormancy. Unless you go Mauna Kea at 6,600 feet, you know, something like that. So
Yeah, I feel like I went to a winery on the Big Island. There was something.
there's a volcano, but that's a different topic I shouldn't talk about. But
No. I feel like I went to the winery. Oh, you don't want to talk about
there's one on the Big Island.
Okay.
But they're
He's
nice
proud
people.
of this one. Yeah, he's proud of this one. Though.
Okay.
But the other thing that, you know, as an example, we're such a tropical climate that there's diseases and pests that no one would know how to handle or deal with.
Well,
so
once they find your piece of land, yeah,
and the birds,
yeah.
because they were tropical, they whack that stuff, man. So
I bet.
here's a lady that's
I'd whack this stuff if it tastes like this.
Here's a lady that's been doing it, persevering for 44 years.
Should we have her on Talk Story?
Yes.
Okay. I think we need to make this
I
happen.
have to show you in between.
Ho'ekolu.
I got to show you this this short little video I took of her, and I put it on this thing. It was pretty cool.
It doesn't start with a P, right? And end with hub.
No.
What's
He
that?
doesn't know what that means, but no.
Pineapple Hub?
Yes, exactly. Pineapple hub.
So anyway, that's a crowning achievement. But so the whole point of the story is there is a winery that we should be proud of. And so all of our restaurants, we offered it was called Lokilani Brut, which was a sparkling wine. We offered it by the glass in homage to her and her
It's called
efforts.
Lokilani too? Oh,
Yes.
that's so pretty.
It's good. So
That's a good story. And I love that you supported how committed she was.
and the grapes for that particular wine are grown in California, and they're made in California, and they're shipped here. But then it's aged on the lees, on its particles for 18 to 24 months, and then they bottle it here. Yes.
Guys, now that I'm becoming a wine connoisseur, I'm thinking of all the ways I can build a brand about making my own wine company. And I feel like
You don't want to do that.
Oh, Okay, well, shoot all my dreams down now.
It's tough business.
I know it's a tough business, but what if it were like some super curated collective that took time to like think about like an INA based. There's got to be some way that we can do this, even if it's like.
I've always wanted to grow grapes here, so one day.
Let's do it. I'll partner with you.
Really?
We could do this. Yeah, 3 of us. We could have my one-man band dad. It's like a winning. It would win so hard. No, I'm serious because I am starting to like wine. Does that mean? Also, can I just say, if we're being open right now, like, does that mean that I'm old if I start to like wine, like love wine? Does that mean, like, I don't see a 19-year-old going, I love wine.
Well, that's the point.
Right.
We got to get more 19-year-olds to say, I love wine.
And I
we
think
talked
I'm jumping
about
on
this
that train. I'm jumping on that train.
With Missy. There's like an evolution, you know, you like just drink for effect when you're younger. And then like she said, like
He said that about you, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember telling me about that?
What? That I drink for effect?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
1000%.
Okay.
Yeah. But if I'm cruising, I'm going to drink something like this, you know?
I think I want to challenge myself to just drink wine for a bit.
Yeah. And then even when people discover wine, there's a lot of like common similarities in people's wine journeys. They start with something like super fruity.
Yeah.
And they'll move into like more California or Oregon wines.
Right.
And then they start to, or like New World. And then they start to taste stuff like this, you know?
Well, I mean, this is probably my first Greek wine that I've ever had in my 39-year-old life, and it's delicious. You know, I drink like Santa Margarita by the liter, you know?
Santa Margarita by the liter.
Exactly. Because that is what you're thought or you're marketed or to think that that's what's cool or that what you drink.
Yeah.
But when you have a master sommelier teaching you that you can have a $13.99 bottle, which is what, 50%, 60% cheaper than that said wine.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's knowledge, you know, powered by Ike. Ike is knowledge.
Yes.
And I like
Absolutely.
it. I am picking up what you were putting down, Chuck.
Thank you.
So let's try the calamari with the Birkino.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want, can you talk to us about this Birkino wine?
Well, I wanted to see the Barraquino for the other dish.
Oh, that's not for the calamari?
You can try it and see which
Can I
one
just
you like
eat
better.
all this calamari
Yeah,
from
of course.
Buzz's?
Go for it.
Dude, I love Buzz's.
Okay.
Buzz's actually has this thing called, is it the escargot that I love?
yeah.
Oh my God. I
like
might do
that?
that since, dude.
Wow.
Shameless
dude.
plugging our first official sponsor.
Can they be my sponsor on Talk Story? I mean, we could,
could
gosh,
talk
could you
about it.
imagine if we did a full show from there? That'd be awesome.
Buzz is...
But I do like this one.
You know his grandfather was Buzz, right?
Who?
Cully.
Yeah, I do. I actually
By the
thought
way,
Cully-
I got to text from Kimo. Kimo's so handsome and he's so charming. I just want to make sure I clarified that.
This is really good. How do they get the calamari to stay so soft? Because I feel like sometimes when you order calamari to go, it gets chewy.
Yeah. So it's all about defrosting it correctly. Also making sure that there's not a lot of, like when you're defrosting it, that you dry it really well. Otherwise the breading won't stick. Like, you know, if you make chicken katsu and it's not prepared correctly, the breading, comes right off the chicken. So it's like a whole process to make this. And they pound these things out.
It's one of my favorites, so thank you.
And I think to comment with the Zoe specifically, like we talked about, the herbs on top is why you pick this wine,
Yes.
right? And it's dry, so it'll cut through
Yes.
the Lemon Beurre Blanc.
Right, and when we're talking about pairing as well, I'm a very big cilantro fan.
Yeah.
I love cilantro. I mean, I will also put it in my bath with Zoe wine. But it's interesting that
Roosevelt.
I know. I mean, I'm just being honest, but I would think what I learned from you on Talk Story is that could be something that cilantro is like I'm trying to say, like, lemon you taught to me is like a breaker, right? Like it's almost right. And so I feel like cilantro is that, and capers.
Yeah, I love the combination, and that's why the aromatics of the Zoe works in there with the cilantro and the capers. It's really... Hey, when you look at a caper plant, by the way, just to go off the subject, it's pretty crazy what they do, you know.
Oh my gosh, I was with Keone Chang from Foodland, and he taught me the big brother of a caper, which is, I can't remember.
Caper berry.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't even know, and that was on my charcuterie board.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did no one teach me at Roosevelt about this?
Yeah.
Like, why, you know?
Well, when he was doing his segment, I kept thinking to myself, Jesus. A joke.
Say it one more time.
A joke.
I just want you to know you're one of my legit one of my favorite people. I'm not even kidding. My whole team, I have a producer and a director. We're a 3-person team at Talk Story, and you left and we're like, we got to do more stuff with him. I text Kale.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I freaking love your dad. Can I have him? You're just so knowledgeable. I'm always impressed that you're a local boy who enjoys this, and it must bring you so much joy that your legacy is starting to learn about all of it now.
Anytime I call him on the phone, he answers, "Who's your daddy?"
No, he answers that.
Now,
But when he calls, I just wait. He goes, hello? I go, hello?
I'll call and I'm like expecting him to be like, "Hello," and I'm like, we're both waiting for like 5 to 10 seconds, and then we're like both waiting for somebody to hang up after as well, because I'm driving most of the time, and he's like, "Hang up." I was like, "Bro, I'm not even paying attention."
Oh my gosh. We this is so fun, and it must bring you so much joy. I love when people take their passion and they help elevate it and they teach it to the next generation, because that's what it's all about, right? Like this, and I'm so happy for you that you're able to create something like this.
That's one of the biggest benefit for me is that, before this podcast, I would talk to Cully once every 2 months, maybe, something like that. Now we talk every day, sometimes 5 to 10 times in a day. So it's brought this, working on a project together that's moderated by the 2 divas over there, that makes it so fun.
Beautiful
and
divas.
Proactive, and it's always changing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, we got to do some collab, a Talk Story, Uncorked. We got to do something. This is made for TV.
Yeah.
This is
TV
fun.
or not TV? That's the question.
That was one of your better jokes I've heard in a really long time.
Oh my gosh, when we used to go visit your dad at Vino, you used to come to our table and just tell, I'm like, oh my gosh. I can't even remember them right now because it's Zoe hitting me real hard. This be dropping real hard right now. But you do, where do these one-liners come from?
Artistry. It comes from deep
Was he almost like
inside.
this?
I think that dad jokes thing probably started like 15 years ago. Yeah.
How
It's
did-
always been like that.
How did he scold you when you were small?
Lickings. How everyone used to get lickings with like
That's
a hanger.
not true.
You got wine
my God.
bottles?
Bro, I got his hands are like stone.
No, it's
Yeah.
not true. It's not true.
I mean, it's well
That's so
deserved.
funny.
I was
Cheryl was
naughty.
asking me the other day. I said, I think I spanked Cully maybe twice.
No,
I spanked
fucking way.
Whitney once. I remember. Yes, that's it. Yeah, I wasn't a spanker. I was a yeller, though.
You know what's so funny is that we talked about this on my show with my dad, with you, remember? Because my mom and dad tried to act like I never got lickings because I was spoiled. I got bad lickings. My brother and I totally. So I'm like, why do parents want to? I mean, I know we live in a different PC culture where that can't always be talked about, but listen, if you had one of 5 last names, you were able to discipline and teach, and that's a part of the responsibility of being someone's family member. I feel like so. I don't feel like parents should be ashamed of it. I just choked on my Zoe.
Oh,
Anyway.
the joke's on you.
Here, let's try this though.
Okay.
So this is what kind of salad is this?
Okay, so this is what's called stracciatella cheese.
Okay.
It's
use
kind of
your
like a
fork, I think.
takeoff on a caprese, but instead of mozzarella.
Is that the correct pronunciation of caprese? Because it's like caprese, like what?
Yeah,
what is
that's
it?
a good question.
Hey, do I look like an information center?
You actually
call-
do. You actually do. And
You gotta-
I'm going to somehow figure out a way to make a business out of you.
So you gotta. So this is like tomato and cheese essentially with some pesto and this
It looks
is from
like, is this spinach?
pesto and basil.
Sorry.
So this is
They call me Grace.
this is from Zia's.
I'm trying
over
to
in
be
Kaneohe?
so COVID friendly right now, and it's just not working out.
Do you know Zia's in Kaneohe?
I don't.
It's an Italian restaurant that's been there for a long time.
Do they make pizza? Because I am looking for a good pizza spot.
Do they make? Yeah, they make
do.
pizza.
But
Is it
it
good?
was like everybody's first serving job on the east side. It's like just a family owned, like super neighborhood Italian restaurant. Good food, good value.
You know, I have to tell you, I wasn't a very big Kailua person growing up, just because I'm from Kali Valley, and I just recently started working out here in Kailua, and I drive over, like some of my classes are like at 6 or 7 a.m. I drive over the Pali and I see this beautiful sunrise, and then I work out, and I am loving this Kailua vibe. It's kind
love
of
it.
like Santa, I don't actually.
Santa Barbara?
No, I wasn't gonna say that
Oh.
because then that would make me a bad Hawaiian. I was gonna say that I love that it kind of has this like beachy,
Oh, for sure.
yet very grounded.
And you know,
I don't know how to get myself out of this one.
I moved out here during COVID, and what it kind of opened my eyes to is that
It's a great town.
what it opened my eyes to is like everybody has a balance. I mean, not everybody, but like you see people work to live,
Right.
and then they're at the beach with their family on the weekends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're enjoying each other's companies. Like I think that's like a something that I learned moving out to.
No, I
Cairo.
love it out here. I actually recently asked Kimo if he would live out on this side, but
did
it's
he
like,
say?
because first of all, I'm allergic to like 18 grasses that are in the Kaneohe and Kailua area for some reason.
Grasses?
So yeah, it's really weird. I know. None of them are cannabis, apparently. But
He knew you was like that.
I knew you were like that.
no, but I just love it. And I feel like, living in Honolulu, you cross a hill and you come over to this really serene, different
Oh yeah.
vibe.
Yeah, driving through the Pali and seeing Kailua is
you have
like you
that?
just said, is
Yeah.
one of my favorite views. Yeah.
Totally.
So talk to us about the bear kino specifically.
So if you look,
Can't how with this one.
so this one is again, caprese is tomato and mozzarella cheese.
Caprese.
Caprese and pesto. And typically they would serve pesto with it. So
Okay.
Keith Endo, who's the chef at Zia's, he used to be the chef at Vino. So he makes his own stracciatella.
Oh my god.
And so stracciatella refers to stretching of the cheese. And it's just simple. It's got texture. It's just, simple cheese. And the quality of the tomatoes are very
This
important.
is also delicious. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, I wanted to do things that you could eat at home very simply.
I would eat this every day.
Yeah, exactly.
For breakfast.
It's
but
very
why
good.
this wine with this?
Again, the pesto, it connects with the pesto. You try this thing, and plus that, this dish is a little richer, I think,
Yeah, it is.
than the last dish. So the Barraquino is a little richer because it's from
see
California, and so it can handle the cheese.
Which bear kino?
Malvasia Bianca. So that's the name of the grape. So that's the one we used at your show.
I'm so fascinated by this guy. You have no idea.
For your show, I did this Barraquino with your poke, one of your pokes.
Oh, okay.
And just to give you some history,
the first one.
until about maybe 6 years ago, Malvasia was considered the most widely planted white grape in the world.
Albino. No.
Yeah, so it's pretty white on. So it's pretty cool that after all that, we found one that's really good with food, and that's this one, and it's from California.
What?
Yeah.
Guys, I feel like you could be wine influencers. Like you could have an Instagram with like 700 billion followers that just featured, and I want to be a part of this. I'm having so much fun, by the way. P.S. If you wanted to know.
Yes.
First of all, that's one of the best like caprese salads that I've had.
First of all, I can't believe I've lived on this earth for 4 decades almost and only learned now that it's caprese. Caprese.
Look it up. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong.
I think you are.
I don't speak Filipino, so.
Oh my God, that's like lechon. No, this is phenomenal.
And I think the what I'm taking away from both of these food and wine pairings is it's kind of similar, excuse me, to what you're saying about.
Did your beat just drop too?
Yeah, something dropped. But what you're saying when you opened up the podcast about being in the Mediterranean and just drinking quaffable wines, that these two pairings is not necessarily about swirling it around your glass and breaking it down. It's just to enjoy. It's to get ready for the next bite.
Makes it taste so good, and still, it keeps your palate fresh and alive between bites. That's the whole joy of this
I was
thing.
just about to say it. Like you don't feel heavy,
Yeah.
right? It's like keeping it like light and your favorite word, enjoyment.
Yeah.
And
They're crushable. You can crush these wines, you know? It's what you said. You're gulping it with these dishes. You're not like it's not you're not getting ready for a perfect pairing or like a fancy dinner. This is pure enjoyment.
And like I told you, both of these wines in the store is $13.99.
that's
This one too?
insane.
Right? $13.99 in Burkina, right? Yeah, $13.99. So I'm not asking anybody to
Break the bank.
yeah. These wines are reasonable. But look how much it adds to the food.
Yeah.
It adds so much. And I don't think I will go to a restaurant again and order a cocktail when the food is this delicious. I do have a question for you, though, because I find it so interesting that you've spent your career in the service industry, but how do you get along, or what is your relationship with like executive chefs? Because you have such an opinion of pairings. So have you ever gotten into it before, or have you ever had maybe a bad relationship with an executive chef, or do you the opposite, pair
What's a good
up?
relationship?
Yeah,
a good
like how-
story. Yeah.
Here's the deal for me. You know,
That's a good question, by the way.
so one time I used to manage Bagwell's restaurant, which was the fine dining restaurant at the Hyatt,
Let's bring it back.
right? And it was, it was tuxedo. I had to wear a tuxedo. I wore a tuxedo for 6.5 years of my life. And I remember
Can I borrow it?
when I had just left the Holly Colonial, I managed Le Maire there. And I remember the PR person, the Western Regional PR person for the Hyatt hotels, came and met with me. And she was listening, and she had all these things that they wanted me to do, and all these radio interviews and all these articles and all these do whatever. And I sat there and I patiently listened to her, and I said, I really don't like doing TV. I don't like being in front of the camera. I don't like to write articles. I'm not a good writer. I countered whatever she asked me to do.
I want to beg to differ on the writer, because I feel like you're a very good writer.
But
No.
maybe now he's developed it.
Yeah,
Oh,
but-
okay. Well, your
So-
sense is only now.
She listened to me, and at the end of the conversation, she said, "So let me get this straight. Are we talking about what's best for Chuck Furia, or what's best for the restaurant?" And so I went, "Oh my God," because I pride myself in being a team player,
Yeah.
and that's what I try to talk to chefs about and everybody in a restaurant. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be a team,
Absolutely.
and the goal has to be making sure the customer gets 100% of hospitality, good food, timeliness, value,
Attention, energy,
everything.
vibe. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
And so
Maybe you can answer, or after you're done explaining this, answer her question even better, or more so with your experience when you're going to Montana
Yeah.
for that wine. Yeah.
So, but the point of the story is, it goes back to your culture. So if you're going to be combative, like in the old days, chefs in front of the house were totally combative.
Right.
But nowadays, if we're talking about hospitality, and specifically here in Hawaii, with our aloha spirit, with our welcomeness, then what's the priority? Is it about Chuck Furia? Is it about the chef? Or is it about the guest's experience?
Right.
And if that's our goal, then we need to be reminded about that. Regardless if you have had a bad day, the kitchen is kind, the guy didn't show up to work, whatever, we got to try our best to deliver this.
Right. Even if
So
you're
that
slammed, even if you're
every
behind,
single
you're
customer
an
that
hour
comes
wait.
in, every single customer that comes in gets the same
experience.
Yeah.
experience that you wanted
Standard
them
of
to have.
hospitality.
Yeah. And that's what I respect so much. What I do now, and we talked about this a little bit, like in television, is extending that hospitality, though, right? But I'll use an example. Like Kimo and I went to Tanaka of Tokyo the other night because we just wanted to be off of our phones. We wanted to be entertained. We wanted to be like, okay, there's so much going on in our lives. What can one chef do? And this guy came out, and this is just a hospitality comment, but he had 4 kids, barely making it, But he came out there and performed. It was 2 of us, not 8 of us. You know how you normally gather in that experience. And I was just thinking, how important is that to care so much about your, when you talk about team, but he's representing this name of something. And it was so important to me that people still care that much, because in a time where I feel like because of the pandemic, people care about service less because they're like, oh, they've been out of work, or oh, they've been there. The service industry has gone.
It's been in flux.
Right. And so I love that people want to continue what you've spent your life creating.
Well, I think it goes back to as well. I used to teach classes for Hawaiian Airlines, right? For the flight attendants and whatnot. So Hawaiian Airlines represents Hawaii. So when they chose to go international to Korea, Japan, wherever, they're representing Hawaii. And so everybody says aloha. But what does aloha mean? I see a sign, if you want aloha, buy this. That's not aloha. And I tell people, aloha should be a sincere thing that comes from deep inside you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the true test of aloha, or the true test of character for that matter, is when things are not going hunky-dory. Correct?
Absolutely.
And so when the air conditioning is not working, the flight is delayed, you have 2
People are
screaming
pissed,
kids, et cetera, that's when the true test of aloha is.
Right.
And so that's what we have to remember. No matter how busy a restaurant is, no matter if your cook didn't think the gas is not on, whatever, we got to deliver. Otherwise,
the show goes on, as we say in the
it's like
entertainment
your show.
industry.
It's like your show.
goes on no matter what.
If you're not primed and ready and do all the things that you do to get ready, I mean, it was very obvious to me how prepared you were.
Excuse me.
Your show's not your show. You know, and
Wait, what? No, I'm kidding.
no, you do that so well and so
Thank you.
smoothly but that's what makes your show your show. You know, that's why people watch it. And so it's the same thing. You know, I think we have to remember, you're asking me about the chef. We got to remember we're here for the customer. If the customers aren't coming, we ain't in business.
Yeah. Well, part of that question too is that, you know, being for Talk Story and working for the news station, I get to meet a lot of young up and coming creative chefs who are and I love this. I know Kale will appreciate this too, of how much people are into aloha aina and how we're into
1000%.
eating the invasives. I just worked with Chef Gooch, and what they're doing to take things that come from the land, but then also someone so knowledgeable. And I use the word kako a lot on Talk Story, but like having the knowledge that you two are now trying to teach the next generation, along with people like Gooch, people like Keone Chang, people like it is just, they all go hand in hand, And I think it's important to make it to where it's not a status or a financial thing. Like I'm going to be real honest right now, $13.99 is cheaper than my case of seltzers.
Yeah.
$8 cheaper plus CRV. Do you get CRV on wine?
And I think he's the perfect
CRV.
example of
CRV is a car.
of
Give me more wine.
breaking the borders, because he has like every accolade or whatever, every award to be a dick about wine, and the fact that we're like learning this from him in such a genuine way.
And you really do, and this is what I love about you, is that it is your true passion to teach people that it is about enjoying it. And also creating moments. And I think what I got away maybe a couple weeks after you left Talk Story is that what you are also trying to teach is camaraderie and connection. Like, I think instead of taking a 2-second shot, you're teaching people that we need to evoke,
to do this, eat food, drink wine,
evoke
talk
conversation.
Story. Exactly.
And I think that that's a powerful thing, And I really appreciate how much you generations are supposed to pass on these legacies, right? And I would never have thought that this is where we would be on a Tuesday night in Kailua, but I've learned so much, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing to teach these people.
But I mean, think about how much you learned from your father.
Right.
And it's not all tangible things. It's a reaction. It's how you mourn. It's how you
my
celebrate.
dad actually, ironically, taught me how to take shots. So, I mean... I'm just kidding, Dad. I love you, Dad. But I mean, he wouldn't deny that. I'm not kidding.
Well, it's so funny.
My whole life had Crown Royal in my freezer. Is that bad?
It's so opposite with us, him and I.
Is it?
He does things I would never have considered. I mean, I'm not talking about drugs, drinking.
Don't let me drink this wine. Then.
This guy is exactly the opposite. He's teaching me about life.
I think he has very beautiful qualities that come from you.
Oh, that's nice of you.
He actually just slid me a 20.
Actually,
and I better get a Venmo too, Kale. I want a Venmo.
But look at those two ladies. They turned away and looking at the wall now.
Oh, this is good though. This is great. Thank you so much. And what is the price point on this one?
Which one? The wine?
$13.99 again.
Both?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Guys.
Family owned?
Well, it's two guys.
Yeah.
But they don't own the vineyard. They met this old Italian family, and that's how they got the grapes for this wine.
Wow.
I just talked to him the other day, and I'm going to talk to him on a Zoom in about 2 weeks. I just think
he's been doing these industry Zooms. That's his other little side project.
For young sommeliers and professionals.
It's really cool.
We get a
How do we become sommeliers, first of all?
Tough. It's a long road.
Not from the high school we went to, obviously.
That's why you're like that.
Apparently. Hey, if you can do it, I can do it.
That's what I keep telling people. I'm the perfect example. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. You also have like a photographic memory, and I mean, I'm gonna hype him up a little bit.
Hype him up.
Like, you don't have to hype him up to me. SAT score. He's like super smart. He's just being modest.
You are very smart.
Yeah.
No. If I was smart, what the heck, man?
I know. No, this is how he answers my phone calls.
Ouch. All right, let's not pick on Cully tonight. Goodness gracious.
Oh.
Anyway, what happens next? Now, do we just drink the bottles?
We just
Yeah.
talk story off camera after this.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up.
But I want to thank you.
Yeah.
It's
I
been
wanna
a,
thank you.
a second pleasure. I mean, that first thing that we did on your talk story session was I called him right away. I wasn't even out the door when what's her name said goodbye. I was
Mary
like
Beth.
calling.
Mary Beth is actually
She's
she
the
actually
best.
Really likes you. Yeah.
Yeah, I love her. She's so honest too. She's like she doesn't hold back. She's very straightforward.
She is.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Right now, so we wrapped on Call Ilo of Talk Story last Sunday or 2 days ago. And she's now in Knoxville, Tennessee, which she appropriately calls Tennessee. And because she got the word Tita, right? Tita and Tita. And she's great. So it's nice to, she said she'd bring back some wine from there.
They made me feel very welcome. And so this is the second episode, and second
isn't
time
the
we're working
end.
again.
No,
It's not the end.
at
The beginning.
all, yeah.
I feel like it's the beginning of something very cool. I appreciate
Yeah.
what the both you guys are doing. I love this. And come back on Talk Story, or I'll come back here
Yeah,
like
please.
anytime.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, can I be a Faruya too? Mckenna Maduli Faruya. Like,
You gotta.
wait, Kennedy Faruya Kardashian West.
Oh, are you a
Maduli.
Kardashian?
Maduli. No, I
Where does the Kardashian come from?
have no idea. I just think that they're everywhere. So I
Winfrey.
was, yeah, Winfrey. Thanks, you guys.
That's
this
your
is
idol.
so fun. Yeah,
that was
this
very
is,
fun.
To all of you, our special guest, Mckenna Maduli.
hello, everybody.
Talk Story. Cully, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I know,
Thank you
so
all.
good.
We hope you learned a thing or two on this episode.
You better.
Join us again next week. Aloha, everybody.
Aloha, uiho.